G'day, I'm Hugh Bowman. So today I want to talk about the evil to-do list. You know, the big list that has heaps of items on there, but you never seem to get to the bottom of it and don't feel like you don't achieve an enormous amount, like it's almost overwhelming. And that's a problem, it's not very effective. And I've just had one too many clients that I know that have told me that something they're going to do is on their to-do list, but they just haven't got around to it for quite some time now, like a month or two. This is for Adrian. And so the reason we're doing it is because for this reason here. If you get effective at doing your to-do list really well, you can do up to 25% more every single day. So it's worth a lot. And I've done lots of research on this. I've read lots of books on this, and people tell me that I seem to achieve a lot. So maybe there's something that I've got that I'm doing is worthwhile for you to know. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. So here's some overarching things I want to show you just before we get into the list component of it, is that there's always enough time to do the most important things. That's my sort of mindset principle because there's always too many things to get, you can't do everything. It's got too many things to get done. There's no way you can do everything, but there's always enough time to do the most important things. And so when I complain about not having enough time and not getting things done, you go, well, where am I failing here? So you need to sort that out. Some other things that are really important is that, you know, to have great to-do lists, you actually need to have like some quarterly goals. You need to know what you're really trying to achieve a little bit further out. So therefore, every week or every day is a step along the way. You also must apply the 80-20 rule to everything. So this is Pareto's principle, they call it. So, and it goes something like this, like 80% of the value of the activities you're doing are coming from 20% of the tasks. So if you're like, it almost works like, you know, of all the things that you're doing, 20% of the things you do will create 80% of the value. And this is reading elsewhere where I've, you know, identified people's role descriptions and things. It's probably got between 6 and 12 things that are really important as part of their job role. But out of all those, 3 have the biggest impact. So that supports the 80-20 rule. It almost applies to this day, even though it's 100 years old. So the other thing that I focus on is I create chunks of time to do the most important things. So this is like a daily and a weekly activity I do with a staff member, Elisa. So we think about, I need to record a video like this. I need a chunk of time to do it. And so we look forward and find a place in my diary that I can have a chunk to do something that is important. You know, so that's important. And the final one here is I talk about my golden hours, like protect your golden hours. And it varies for different style people, but for me, it's like between 10 and 4. So, you know, any time between 10 and 4, you don't go and wash your car, you don't go and have long lunches, you only do things that are very high value and protect them, you know, really closely because that's just so important. And so they're the guiding principles, and the ultimate thing is you've actually got to become a master of the lists. I call it, you know, and it's something you have to become, and no one actually masters it straight away. There is no end point. It's not binary. You've tick boxed it. It is something that's gradual. It doesn't matter what level of business you're at, you're always having to improve the way you manage your time. So it doesn't go away, and it's worth an enormous amount to focus on improving it. So let's have a look at what a really basic list looks like and how to approach it. So I've got one over the page here. So it looks a little bit like this. So we've got to talk about the daily, weekly, monthly, or in some ways the monthly or quarterly, I call them, are more like a goal in a way. But so we talk about the daily, weekly, and the process is something like this. The night before or the day before, you know, the week, you prepare your list. So and the reason you do it the night before is that it sets your subconscious brain to sort of solve how you're going to fit it in and what's the most important. It actually helps a lot. So every single week, you know, on a Sunday night or sometimes Friday, but usually Sunday night, I prepare my weekly list. And out of that weekly list, you've got a whole bunch of line items, but some are more important. But that's the weekly list, and then I have a daily list. And it looks something like this. In the daily list, you're trying to achieve everything on your daily list, and you throw that in the bin, and then the next day you do another daily list. So you do one weekly list a week, and then you do 5 daily lists a week. And the way I do it different lists. You know, you can do it electronically or on your phone or whatever you like. But for me, I'm a bit old school because if it's writing it down actually helps me remember and think about it more. So I do it. Here's my diary. Now, there you go. There's a whole list. You can see a whole bunch of things in here. You know, it's probably got 20 or 30 things in there. I can't do 20 or 30 things in a week. And so what I do is pluck out the most important things and put them on a daily list. And then I have a daily list. So the aim is to achieve what's on my daily list, then throw it in the bin, and then the night before you write the next day's lists and do the same thing again. Now, where the power comes in is structuring your list. So it's not about, so you've got the when, you know what's on it, but how do you structure it? And here, this is how you do it. You start to grade them, A, B's, and C's, and D's. So I put them down as an A, as a must do. So this video is an A for me today. It was like a must do. It's 5:30 at night. I really want to go home. Because it's a must do, I'm doing it right now. So you label things on your daily list and weekly list as must do's as an A, or a B is something you really should do, like getting an invoice out or something. But and then the C is just the nice to do, and D I haven't written, but that's like a just don't do it all or delegate. So here's my thinking. Because I've just said that I record the video today, call it a daily list. I would have given it an A, right? So hence, and at this is the night before. You go through them. I got an office that's empty here. I need to advertise it. Is that a must do today? I go, oh, it's really a B. I've done it anyway. I should have done it. I need to design a bonus system for a plumber. I could have done that any day this week. So that's a B. And I call the ATO because they keep on telling me I've got overdue payments, but they're not, and so I need to fix that up. But gee, that's not a crucial thing in my book. It's I don't know, B, C. I don't really care much about the tax office. Sales call, A, and I need to collect some domain information for a website we're building for a client, JMEC. Again, it's probably not a today thing, but it's important. We've got to do it at some point. So you can see how I've sort of ranked a couple of things on here. And so the thinking every day or today's job would be to hit off the A's, do not go home before they're done. That's the thinking. And B's, you try and knock as many off as you can. And the idea is, of course, you've got managing your guys and you're buying materials and you've got jobs to run. And so you've got to think about how you can fit in the A's and a couple of B's and during every single day. So it's not being structured about, you've got to do it at 9:30 in the morning, you've got to do it at 4:30. It's like, okay, you've got to find a way to fit it in. You've got to find a block. You've got to protect the golden hour. You've got to, do what it takes to get it done. And that's like a sense of urgency that sort of forces you to achieve more. And it works every time. So I implore you to try developing a weekly list a week and then 5 daily lists as well the night before and rank them A, B, C's, and I can guarantee you'll get a bit more done. If you want to know a bit more how to do this or want some more help or questions about it, reach out and I'll see if I can help you. I look forward to hearing from you sometime.